welcome back to another video on the F1 Journal. And after last week's shock announcement, in my opinion, that Sebastian Vettel would leave Ferrari at the end of the 2020 F1 season, we look at what is next for the German. Will he remain in F1, or will he retire, or could he go on a sabbatical? Find out my opinions right now. Now, in my opinion, one of the most likely, if not the most likely option, was that Sebastian Vettel would join McLaren for the 2021 season. However, that is no longer possible, of course, with Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo being confirmed as McLaren's 2020 drivers. I thought this move would have made perfect sense, really, with McLaren busy rebuilding and trying to work their way back towards the front of the grid after a spell in the midfield, and having a multiple-time world champion, in fact a 4-time world champion, in the team who knows what it takes to win could be a helpful ingredient and would make a good foil for young charger Lando Norris. But from Vettel's point of view, I think this is probably why it didn't really go further. Would he really want to join a midfield team? And this is the same with some of the other candidates like Renault, who we'll go on to in a minute. I don't know, I thought McLaren would have been the most likeliest option, but of course that's no longer an option, and we're here to talk about current options. So, Renault. Talking of Renault, Vettel's next option for the 2021 season could well be Renault. With Daniel Ricciardo already joining McLaren, Cyril Abiteboul has previously refused to rule out Sebastian Vettel as a potential driver for Renault in the future. And of course, it would be something of a coup for the French manufacturer to have a 4-time world champion on board as they continue to push towards the front of the grid. And don't forget, it was Renault power that took Vettel to all 4 of his titles with Red Bull, with Renault team principal Cyril Abiteboul heading up the Renault power guys at the time. But the question is, would Vettel want to join it? Would Vettel really want to spend 2 or 3 years building up a team and then be a world championship contender when he's 35, when potentially he'd be too old to win a world championship? It remains to be seen. Could a romantic return to Red Bull be in place for Sebastian Vettel? The man who won 4 world championships at the team could join Red Bull if Alex Albon under-delivers at the team this season, leaving Red Bull with very little option from the junior team. Christian Horner and Helmut Marko said it's very, very unlikely, but it's still very much a possibility. When Vettel was having his wobble in the 2018 season at Ferrari, there's much paddock talk that the environment at Ferrari was not suitable to getting the best out of him, as opposed to the situation that Christian Horner and Dr. Helmut Marko created at Red Bull for him. There are even suggestions Vettel was hankering for a move back to the team where he won all of his world championships. Could it happen now? It seems very unlikely, as Red Bull initially struggled to replace Daniel Ricciardo. They of course have high hopes for Alex Albon, while starman Max Verstappen is firmly team's number 1. Having left Ferrari because he didn't want to be number 2 to Leclerc, would he join Red Bull just to be number 2 to Max Verstappen? Seems unlikely. Next up is, could we get a potential dream move? Vettel to Mercedes, Hamilton and Vettel in the same team, and suddenly this looks a lot more likelier, as we heard reports today from Germany saying Daimler are pushing hard to get Sebastian Vettel into the car next year, but of course face a standoff with Toto Wolff and Lewis Hamilton, who would prefer Valtteri Bottas remain at the team, or potentially a promotion for Esteban Ocon or George Russell. But of course there was a time when the Vettel-Mercedes partnership looked like the dream ticket for both teams. Vettel would get a brilliant move to help him win more titles, and Mercedes would get a German world champion in a German team. But as time has come on, this move has looked less and less likely, as Vettel has seemed to lose some of his old lustre. The X factor here, though, is that both current Merc drivers, Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas, are out of contract at the end of the season, and it's not impossible that either of them could leave. Could this open up a seat for the German at the back at Brackley, stranger things have happened. But once again, with Vettel wants to be Hamilton's teammate, because I think if we're being brutally honest, in Hamilton's team, Vettel will probably get quite comfortably beat. And the final option Vettel has is retirement or a sabbatical from F1. Could even join other formulas such as IndyCar, like Alonso did, or World Endurance Championship, possibly even Formula E. Ever since Vettel's challenge for the 2018 title fell apart, with a shocking second half of the season, rumours have swirled around the paddock that his heart had gone out of it and he was preparing to retire. He denied it again and again, but these stories wouldn't go away, especially when he was beaten by Charles Leclerc in 2019. Did he have the same fight as he did in his Red Bull days? It didn't look like that way all of the time. So now he's leaving Ferrari. Is this the final season for F1, for Vettel in F1? Not many better ways than going out at Ferrari. After all, when you've raced for the team every driver aspires to drive for, where is there to go next? On the other hand, we know Vettel loves racing, and if it was going to retire, wouldn't he have simply announced it at the same time he revealed he was leaving Ferrari? Seems like the most likely option, but you never know. Vettel leads a secret life and may still be discussing with his family and whoever what his next move will be. So in my opinion, those are all the main options Seb Vettel has ahead of the 2021 season. There are some other ones, but I would consider them very, very, very unlikely, where most of those were very, very unlikely. For example, Alfa Romeo, like Kimi, if Seb really does love racing as much as he says, could he go there for a season or two and then maybe take up a management role? Because that's the sort of thing I could see him doing, much more likely than someone like Lewis Hamilton doing that sort of thing. So that's possible, but I see the most likely option is him taking a sabbatical from F1 for the 2020 season. And if a seat comes available, a top team, or say McLaren progress leaps and bounds over the next 2 seasons and a seat becomes available there, I could see him taking a drive there and hopefully pushing on and maybe even nicking one more world championship. But that's my opinion on what will happen to Sebastian Vettel. What is yours? Leave it down in the comments below. And that is it for today's video. Thanks very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Link to Twitter in the description below for daily F1 news. My other channels are on screen at the moment. Subscribe if you're interested in those sports. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.